There are 4 ways, and only 4 ways, that we have contact with the world. We are evaluated and classified by these 4 contacts. What we do, what we say, and how we say it, and how we look. That's by Dale Carnegie, the famous public speaker.
So, synthesizing the skills that we learned in our public speaking class, we wanted to address 3 of these 4. Obviously, the what that you use, the what that you say, is completely up to you depending on the situation and what you've chosen to speak on or been asked to speak on. But we wanted to speak about the other 3 and talk about the do's and don'ts behind them when it comes to public speaking to make sure that you can have the best public speaking experience possible.
The reason that we chose these 3 things to talk about is because we believe in what we've been taught throughout the semester is that if you can manage these things, not only will you be an effective, persuasive public speaker, but every aspect of your life will be better because you'll be more trustworthy and more likable amongst your peers and family and friends. I'm going to talk about dress and grooming and body language and the importance of those things in public speaking. So obviously with dress, the importance of this is because it gives a message right even before you say anything. When a speaker stands up in front of an audience, they immediately judge him based on the things that he is wearing, his articles of clothing. For example, if your speaker is wearing a suit, they're going to already trust him more because they know that what he's saying is important, he's respectable, and what he is saying is something that he believes in. Another example is with if someone comes up and is going to be talking about something important, they come dressed as Colin, for example. Colin came up here. They're not going to maybe respect them more if someone was wearing a collared shirt. Colin, for once, is not standing with the shoulders squared, which is important. He's kind of slouched a little bit. He's wearing a hood, and he probably just doesn't have anything very important to say because his attitude as well, it doesn't seem that important. Okay, thank you very much, Colin. Stanton, for example. Stanton, if you want to come up here. Stanton is dressed casual, but he's wearing tan pants. He's wearing a nice t-shirt, and his hair is well groomed, and he's clean shaven. The importance of this is that he respects himself, and his audience realizes that, and they're going to respect him. So thank you very much. So dress is obviously very important in public speaking. Another thing with grooming is that obviously you're going to want to be groomed based on what you're talking about and based on your audience. If you have long hair, if you have a beard, that might be okay based on if you're speaking to a certain group of people. But generally speaking, the most persuasive kinds of people are those that are well groomed, with a nice clean haircut, and who are clean shaven. That's going to be more persuasive, more believable. Last but not least, what I want to talk about is body language. Body language is very important in public speaking. I know that in our class we talked about squaring our shoulders, very important, standing straight, not having your hands in your pocket, not moving them everywhere, but looking confident when you are speaking. Swaying is also something you're not going to want to do, standing on one foot. If you have a podium, you're not going to want to just be completely connected to that, but maybe get around and move around, but not so much that your audience is distracted by your body movements. Another important aspect of public speaking, along with dress and grooming, is body language. Something that we talked a lot about in our class was the importance of squaring your shoulders, looking confident, standing up straight, looking and having eye contact with your audience. All of those things are very powerful and speak volumes when it comes to body language. One of the first things that you can tell in presentation or with the speaker is the way he's standing and the way he is looking at you and delivering his speech. It tells a lot about his confidence, and it will help you focus a lot more. If someone is not standing up straight, it doesn't look confident, then why do you care, really? Something that we also covered with body language is the importance of not only, if you're behind a podium, not only moving behind it and moving around when you have a podium and coming back to it when you need to, but not just gripping the podium and just staying there white-knuckled. But it's important to move around, but not too much, not to sway, not to move your hands at an appropriate amount, but to look confident and to stand, but to be moving around enough so that your audience isn't getting bored by by your presentation. Don't stand on one foot, don't move around, don't kick your feet, don't put your hands in your pocket. All of these things are distracting and make you look less credible. The important part about body language is that you want to look credible, you want to look confident, and you want to look like you know what you're talking about.
So what you do on stage as you're presenting is almost as important or more important than what you say. The way you use your gestures and your hand motions, the way you handle that heckler that wants to stand up or leave or argue with you while you're presenting, and the way that you use notes or PowerPoint presentation is going to be key in how the audience perceives you and how much interest they put into your presentation. Number one is your gestures. You want your gestures to be pretty passive and not too extravagant unless you want to really emphasize a point. But always try to bring them back down to normal, your hands. Always try to indicate when you talk about something, give numbers as you give a list, and don't ever use your hand, wash your hands, don't sway back and forth or cross your arms. These are going to send messages that you're unsure and you're not confident about what your topic is. But also another important part is going to be the way that you use your notes. If you do use notes, and that's probably fine to use notes, you want to make sure that you aren't reading your note cards, that you aren't reliant on them, and that you're more interested in your audience and your message rather than reading a piece of paper. Same thing goes with your PowerPoint presentation. PowerPoint presentation can be a great asset in your presentation, but you don't want to be reliant on reading your PowerPoint presentation as you present. The last thing is that heckler that asks the questions that maybe smells like urine or that keeps interrupting. You want to make sure that that heckler is taken care of, that you're not viciously attacking him, but you're really trying to take care of the situation. Sometimes that means asking him to step out into the hall or talking to him during a break and making sure that you take care of it. The way that you act and the things that you do are going to send a big message to your audience on who you are and how important your presentation is.
Finally, we have how you say it. The emphasis and the way in which you phrase your words, your pauses, inflection, even your volume can have an effect on how the audience perceives what it is that you're trying to say. For example, the first one I'd like to talk about is vocal fillers. Things like or or like or yeah. Stanton, tell me about how your finals are looking.
Yeah, so like I had this final review, but I don't really know. Like it was really confusing. My professor, he showed up late and he didn't really know what we were trying to study, and it was kind of really, not really.
I got it. Next time. There's my I'm sorry, but that is just not intelligent speech. That's not a good way for you to come across to an audience, to have lots of ums and frequent pauses and likes, that sort of a thing. It's much better for you to come across to your audience in order to seem polished and seem prepared. It's much better for you to pause and gain your thoughts rather than say a vocal filler. Now the next one I want to talk about is inflection. And what this is varying your tone of voice and where you put emphasis on certain words. In Europe, people will inflect up when they are using a question. For example, did you go to the store? Ends on an up. Versus in America, did you go to the store? Ends on a down. That can have a dramatic effect on your audience and what it is that you're trying to do. I also want to talk about volume. Saw a speech the other day of a young man, and he was talking about texting and driving, and he very solemnly paused. He raised his hands and he said, "What is wrong with us?" In a really loud volume. And it was incredibly effective at getting me to pause and think about what it is he wanted me to think about. And finally, what I've already hinted to here is the idea of pauses. Pauses can be extremely effective and dramatic. They can add drama and flair to your speech, which is a very good thing when it comes to public speaking, because at the end of the day your audience is there somewhat to be entertained. When you use a pause effectively, you really rope the audience in, and you're able to create drama and tension, which you then resolve when you open your mouth to speak again. These are some of the things that are extremely important when it comes to how you say what it is you're saying.
So based on our 3 topics, I talked about what we look like and the importance of dress, grooming, and our body language, and how that affects our audience.
I'm talking about what we do and our gestures, how we use notes, and how we handle that heckler that keeps interrupting us.
And I talked about how we say the things that we're saying with regards to our voice, our volume, your inflection, and pauses. We want to come together today to tell you that if you use the techniques that we've described, that you will have a better public speech, that you will feel more confident, the audience will read that confidence off of you, you will exude it, and you will have a better public speaking experience. This is based not only on our experiences, but on research that they've done on public speakers over the last 2 decades. And we hope you enjoyed our speech and enjoyed some of the tips that we put together for you in order to become a better public speaker. Thank you.